me see. Let me just
Or,
hit. Got it.
yeah, fucking those have been fun to do those, definitely.
Yeah. This is how you get better at talking on Zoom, right?
Yeah, totally.
About Tartaria
Yeah.
and flat Earth.
Yep. This is how the revolution started right here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
flat
a
Earth.
couple
What else?
couple
What else is
couple,
like the thing?
couple guys staring at each other.
NASA, everything. Man, yeah. Um, so what do you got? What do you got? Got any new info?
Fucking, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, always like, I don't know what I can't really think of.
I know.
I've just been fucking, dude. I've been going back and reading like tons of Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard, Clark Ashton Smith, Harry Kuttner, all those guys. And dude, I feel like
Yeah,
I mean, they're describing like the old world so much. It's a trip.
yeah.
It's a
I'm
trip.
not too
There's so much.
familiar with all those guys,
It's
but
just like they all shared stories and shared characters, and they were all friends. And there's just a bunch of stuff. Like Robert E. Howard's the one who wrote Conan and everything, and he wrote stories
oh,
about,
dude, wow.
yeah.
Like
And so
what's
he,
that director? The director that did it though was John Milius or Milius. Do you know him? He did Red
um,
Dawn.
oh hell
He
yeah, yeah.
he did the screenplay. He did the screenplay for Apocalypse Now from the Heart of Darkness,
Okay,
and he's like a like he has an interesting story because he's like a Hollywood outsider. Actually, his character, you've seen the Big Lebowski, right?
yeah,
So
of course,
Walter, the big John Goodman's character.
yeah.
Let me get his name right. I think it's John Milius or something like that.
Uh,
Dude, it was so funny. Like I was like just doing this big research shit like on him, and like he did Red Dawn, and like he was like everybody was he's done like every script. He did every script
he
in
wrote it.
Hollywood.
Wrote it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. His name's John Milius. Yeah. He's
Okay,
and
yep,
so
John
he
Milius.
after Red Dawn, he apparently got that was the kind of the end of his career where they said that like his movies had became too nationalistic,
Right.
and it was like, but the critics for Red Dawn hated it. They hated it, but like our generation of people like were super stoked on it, and it kind of like it kind of was like one of those things where I guess he became kind of like, oh, I'm being blacklisted for being patriotic and shit like that. He's done like every movie, like, and he's like rewritten like every script to like make sense. He's like the star for all those that USC film crew like
Oh yeah, what's
Coppola,
it? Yeah, the
Coppola
film
and
school
George
there.
Lucas and what's that? Mark Scorsese. They all kind of tip their hat to him, but it's kind of like this weird thing where they also kind of like don't want to give him too much credit because he really kind of was blacklisted after Red Dawn. So
Huh,
that's
that's
so funny that
interesting.
yeah
But yeah,
John
Rob.
Milius, man, like
Huh.
his daughter came out with a movie too, where she did a I don't know if she was part of 2000 Mules or whatever that movie's called. I've never watched it, but I think she was a super big Trumper, and
Hmm.
she's right wing. She's I don't know, but yeah, he's an interesting guy, man.
I mean, that even just adds to it because they ended up rewriting like some of his stories for the story of Conan.
Yeah.
But Robert E. Howard, he also was like wrote tons of Cthulhu mythos stories and like intertwined with Lovecraft. And I think he was the one responsible for, it's called the Von Unersprachen Colton or something. It's a fictitious book in the Lovecraft mythos called The Nameless Cults that this like German guy wrote. And it's interesting
Huh.
because after the dude what he was writing his second volume of the series, after he had visited Mongolia, which we know what that is, and he went create that he was like found suicided or whatever.
Oh, did they
But
like
these
Marco
guys,
Polo thing?
yeah, these guys like, I mean, they talk about like, you know, stones that and like mountains that were fucking built, you know, cyclopean civilizations, you know, and shit. It's like a lot of the stuff that we talk about, and they were writing
Right.
about it in the 30s, you know. And like
Yeah.
obviously Lovecraft died early. Robert E. Howard committed suicide like around the same time. Clark Ashton Smith completely stopped writing like horror science fiction like after both of them died, and like just kind of disappeared off into his world. Like it's, I don't know, it's interesting. It's a rabbit hole that I'm like,
Yeah, it's like
you know,
they were coming with a different narrative, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, you guys gotta kind of go here, dude." You know?
I think, you know, I feel like they were talking about, you know, hidden old world shit, and then people, you know, finally they're like, dude, you guys got to go. I don't know.
I mean,
There's
it's
so many
weird.
things. I mean, Lovecraft, I found like 6 stories, I think, that he mentions Tartaria or Tartarian or Tartary, or, you know, it's just
Yeah.
curious shit.
Right. Well, I've seen like where uh like that one little plate that I got that my buddy Matt had. He had it at his house, got it at a garage sale, has Tartaria on it. It's like a
Totally.
map on a plate. And I'm like, oh, look, Tartaria's right on it. Like, I'm like, he's like, you want that? He didn't even give a shit about it. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. And it was like super nice artifact for like seeing that it had the 2 continents, Asia
Mm-hmm.
and North America. And it was just like, I said, the Great Tartaria or Tartar, and then like North American Tartarian. That shit's just like, you know, I don't know where to go with it, because it just seems like so many other people are like the idea of it changing like over the last couple of years is just, you know, some people don't even trust it no more. And I just keep on going, fuck, you know, like it's more interesting than not true. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't it be like, why wouldn't it be the history? And then why wouldn't it be the history that they're trying to cover up at the exact same time, you know?
Totally. And like
You
they
understand what I'm saying?
did,
It's like, yeah.
you know,
It's
they
almost like,
did cover it up.
yeah, yeah.
It's on the maps, like you said, and on these plates, like you said. It's
Well,
like
that's
we're
the
not,
thing. I
you
mean,
know, we're not making up that it's covered up. We found that it was covered up.
well, yeah. And if you ever see how like, you ever like watch like Jacques Cousteau?
It's been a long time, but yeah.
Well, they have them all. You can like watch it on YouTube. They're actually super interesting how they're making the maps of like where they've traveled. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they don't screw up their like their their linear stuff. I mean, it's like measured like 50 times like an hour. You know, every minute
Right.
they're measuring exactly where they're going. It's like it looks, so when you're making a map where you're out in the middle of nowhere, the way they do it is just so, I guess, like mathematical and scientific, that like there's no screwing up when you see a map, you know,
Totally.
unless you don't know how to read a map. And then I guess if you don't know what the legends are, or the currents, or
Well, no,
aluminium,
totally.
aluminium, you know what I mean?
So much volumes like put into all these great map makers, you know, but then like the ones that they don't agree with, like Tartaria and like the
Oh yeah.
island of California and stuff, they're like, oh, they're just idiots. They didn't know what they're talking about.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially if you screw with the timeline, I guess too. I mean, I guess that's like kind of like the construct of it is like the timeline. Like if you can screw up with the timeline and that doesn't make sense, then yeah, like I guess like no one had technology back then that could map like an island of California, because our technology is kind of advanced to the point where like, oh, everything's kind of being taken care of. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so like firsthand accounts of like whether it being an island or not, like I mean, yeah, that stuff's always interesting. That's kind of tying into that like because I think I was telling you about like the pinnacles, and how like the volcano, it's like one half of the volcano,
Uh-huh.
and then the other half of the volcano is like 145 miles southeast. It's like just but it's like separated, and the timeline's like they said it's happened over like a billion years. But if you kind of like super uh you know expose like those and push them together, then California looks a lot different. Like if those volcano the eastern and the western side of the volcano are like right together, southeast, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be like California right here, and it's like looks like that right now. And then if you take like 145 miles, I don't know, like that, it would look something just like those old maps, you know, those volcanoes being together. You know, that's kind of like what like sparked my whole interest in like the topography of it, was like just kind of like, I guess, feet on the ground, kind of like going, hey man, these rocks over here in like Arroyo Seco look really similar to the rocks over here in Davenport, you know. And having that, yeah, exactly like that. And if you kind of superpropose that like where it closes the water, that's only about, that waterway right there is probably less than 145 miles apart, right?
Oh, way less. That's probably like 20 miles.
Probably like 43, maybe. Like if you're kind of like look at it, depending, it's not like 100 miles. It's probably like 50 miles or something like that.
I mean, it's only 60 miles across the Bering Strait there.
Right. Yeah, but like when on a map, it looks like it's a big, oh, no one can make it.
Yeah.
But, you know, and if like, maybe it doesn't even like need, well, anyways, then just kind of like shift it like that. And then that's like totally Baja. And then like all that can be like the Central Coast, right?
Totally.
Where like, my point was like, where like those rocks on the backside of Arroyo Seco and the shale rocks in Davenport look really similar, but like almost like it was like, if you took it and the whole state was like, oh, boom, went straight up and then fucking fell back on it like this and then shifted like that. So, I mean, that's what really like has been kind of like bouncing around like my mind for like seeing those two different things. And then, reading that book, Cadillac Deserts, like really kind of brought me to the point where like, yeah, this can all this was going on in my head before I even knew about Tartaria, you know what I mean? Or the mud floods.
Totally. Like, and that's like the fucking, that's been like the magic of all this research, is it's a culmination of hellish shit, you know?
Right.
It's like, it's not just like all of a sudden it's like, oh, Tartaria, fucking mud flood. It's like, we've come here through many different avenues, you know? And that's what's made it like so insane, is because we've pulled from so many different areas, you know, like it's such a crazy group collaborative through all fields, you know. And it's the ones like this,
the architecture is like amazing in itself, right? You know, and then like but then it's just like from like one of your guys' first videos was about the hydraulic like mining and how that I didn't really have any idea that was I mean, that was possible. But then when you see the pictures of like taking down complete mountainsides, you're like, oh, that probably happened really fast. You know what I mean?
Totally. You could wash that away quick.
1849, whatever the dates are, to you know, like 3 years later when the gold rush was like over, right? You know, so I mean, I can see them changing like soft mounds and actually till they hit the granite, you know what I mean? So
totally. And then where does all that extra dirt and mud go? It floods somewhere. I mean, you have to think that they not only were they mining, were they digging shit out too with all that. They're definitely manipulating the complete, like what we know as California is not what it actually was, you know. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like they've manipulated fucking everything from the rivers to create reservoirs and create these fun zones where you could go jet ski and fucking take your boat out.
But then, because then if you like kind of combine all these ideas, then it kind of like you kind of start going, oh, the Marianas Trench out in the Monterey Bay being the river mouth of the Colorado River, original river mouth. It kind of like makes sense.
What about
like in a real kind of like far out there way though, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What about the Monterey Canyon?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, the Monterey, yeah.
I think it's called the Marianas Trench, right?
No, that's the one that's north. It's different.
Oh, it's not the. Oh, I thought that really. All right.
Yeah, the Monterey Canyon, it comes
Oh
into
yeah,
Monterey Bay.
yeah.
I think is the Marianas. Let's see. The Marianas goes. Is that the one that goes into Mavericks?
Oh, it might be actually. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Let's double check since Mariana. I'm trying Pacific Ocean. Oh, it's way out there.
Okay. Then the
But
canyon going.
The Monterey Canyon is literally like right in the Monterey Bay.
Right. Right
And they
off
don't
Moss
even,
Landing and the slough and
yeah.
stuff.
And they don't even know, like, they can't, according to the narrative of the world, there's no explanation for this place. Like, clear,
Unless,
it's a Grand Canyon level canyon that's buried
yeah,
underwater that had to
it's
be
like you can't.
fed by a river.
Yeah, and that's kind of like that whole. It was the Colorado River right there. It says right there.
Where
See
is that?
it? Colorado River. It
Oh
says
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a remnant of the Colorado River, which was once existed in the Gulf of Cal. See, it's so.
Yeah,
So what happened there, right? I mean, like if the smarty pantses that are like doing the geography of that kind of like just mention it, but you never hear anyone say it, right?
yeah, totally. Because let me pull up a map of California for.
Like the Gulf of Mexico is what, like 10 hours away, driving
Yeah,
at 60 miles
totally.
per hour.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean that with that being that's like 600 miles away.
let's just look at her.
That's
We
map.
can't even look at a normal. I can't even look at a normal map if I can. I guess I could do
Yeah.
Google Maps, but the Monterey Bay is halfway through California.
Right.
So to say that like, oh well, it could have come out through Baja, that doesn't make sense.
Unless the
Because
whole thing was
Baja's how many miles from
well, if it was 10-hour drive from like Santa Cruz to like San Diego, like it's like over 600 miles if you're going 60. It's like
yeah. So
in
here's
LA it's like
Baja.
340, and then it's another 100. Yeah, it's about like 700 miles.
Yeah. Here's Baja, what they say they
Right.
mistook the island of California for, way down here.
Yeah.
And then
And that's but
Monterey.
that's why the capital was in Monterey. Okay, cool.
So
That's the funny
there's
thing, right?
Monterey. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I see.
there's star forts in Monterey too.
Oh yeah, right there at the Presidio. They still have the wall kind of poking out. I think I sent you that picture, right?
Yeah, yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did. Okay.
Star Forts are a trip, right?
Yeah, big time.
Because they're like everywhere.
I have it. I have it here.
Yeah. It was like a quick little video because you can't really like stop right there to, look at that. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. Well, that's actually a good satellite photo for sure.
Do I have my thing on here?
Old Fisherman's Wharf. So it's right there at the Presidio. That's like Spaghetti Hill.
Do I have my things on? Hold on, let's see.
And look how that other one kind of leaps off right there a little bit, kind of fingers off. But what's wild about Monterey and that little Point Lobos area, I don't know if you've ever just been down there recently, but you'll get like a real sense of like how different the Monterey side of the bay is from Santa Cruz, right?
Totally.
Really quick, especially with the different color sand and also the different color waters. Really distinctively different color water, especially in that little inlet right there, Carmel Beach, and also Monastery Beach for sure, and Pebble Beach. Yeah, that like little like inlet right there. Are you trying to scope the Presidio?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where you saw the wall, right?
Yeah, it's over next to the tunnel underneath the right there. See that building right there?
This one?
No, more toward Fisherman's Wharf.
Right
Yeah,
here.
this is actually a lot bigger than what anybody would think. Right there.
Yeah.
So, I'm pointing at it like a dork. like right there, right where the wharf is, kind of like
Yeah.
over to the left a little bit. And
Look at
that's
that
where that is.
Plaza del
Yeah.
Oro.
There's a tunnel underneath all that right there. And there it is right there. Kind of right,
California's
like in
first theater.
The bottom left right there.
Oh, this
There it
thing.
is. Yeah. And right there, you drive right under into that tunnel. There's a tunnel you can see going into the tunnel. And right there, you can almost see, if you like really squint your eyes, you can kind of see it kind of squared off right there. Yeah. Oh, more,
Right
yeah,
here,
right
the tunnel.
Yeah. And that's all right there. And it kind of goes back. That whole hill is where all that green is. That's the Presidio. And then right over, maybe down there, you get toward it's called Spaghetti Hill. It's like the first Italians, fishermen's like settlement.
Got Spanish Park right here.
Oh yeah, and there's like well, and I think they claim that right there is like the mission, right where you're above right there.
Oh,
But
the mission's right here.
Yeah, but the real mission is say right there. But all the missions have been moved, my friend. The real mission is like the real mission is over on the other side, over in Carmel Beach area. And I think that's a monastery, but it's like more of a mission.
Well, they do have a mission over here too.
Yeah. Which doesn't, but that doesn't really make sense with like all missions are like one day apart by horse.
No, totally. This is like freaking way less than that.
It's all kind of like staged.
Especially for sure.
Monterey. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, all the missions are staged for sure.
But Monterey is like the most like kind of like backwards, most screwed in place to like the elites, the the engineers of our society, because that's where TED Talks came out of. Like the first TED Talks were out of Carmel, and people, remember those?
Yeah,
those were like in the beginning. Those were really interesting to me when I first like started like going, what the hell is going on with this? A lot of the early ones were really like mind blowing, really. But then they became all like formulated, and then you ever see that like that parody of like a TED Talk guy?
Probably.
It's funny how he's like he says nothing, and it's just funny how he gets and the crowd all goes, huh? It's really, the parody of it's funny.
Awesome.
Because they got a formula, and like they show a chart. Look at the chart, and then it's like, now take a look at the graph, and there you go, global warming. All that whole area.
That's how they do.
If you go to the backside, like if you go to Big Sur, all the way to Big Sur, and then straight across Big Sur is my favorite like part of like this whole thing. There's Mission San Antonio right there.
Yeah, that's what I was just on.
Yeah. And Fort Liggett Hunter. And then the backside, the 101, backside Greenfield, King City, and the volcano chain right there of
yeah, that little mountain range.
Yeah. There's so crazy how many volcano chain. There's Hearst
all
Castle
this
right here.
All this, yeah.
Go up toward Gonzales right there. All that is like really, really the craziest part of all that. Especially, I don't know if you've ever been to Arroyo Seco, but it's pretty
for sure
isolated, and it's all freshwater springs into the valley, and you can hike to Big Sur from there, and I guess it doesn't take too long. It takes like a night of walking, but who knows? Is that Soledad mission?
Mm-hmm.
Soledad, that and you're saying like El Camino Real, the King's Road.
Yeah, for sure.
You're kind of throwing in some connections to that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it connects all of them. I mean, I think it was previously connected Starfort infrastructure. Yeah. They just repurposed and renamed as fucking.
And it'd be like a real freak out to like if like where all the missions are in the El Camino Real. If it was California was like an island, the original California map was an island. All those missions would be on the east side of the coast. if the continents collided together, you know what I mean? And that
Mm-hmm.
might be one reason or another why all the missions have been like actually moved, you know?
Yeah. Dude, yeah,
I
that
don't know.
makes sense.
That's a far out there thought, but you know, I guess we're talking about Tartaria. Didn't happen, you know, it didn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. Check out
Yeah.
this. It's at Juvenile Hall.
Wow, look at that. Where's that at? Salinas?
Salas.
Salinas, dude. The lettuce, dude. That looks like a little like it looks pretty star 40 right there with that corner out right there that you're talking about.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's only missing the baseball field, huh? They don't let him play baseball.
Yeah, no, they're missing that field there.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. And then you got if you go down toward there's another volcano right here in not Santa Barbara, but
I think it'll
San Luis Obispo right there is another volcano, which is kind of crazy. You ever been to that one? It's
no.
right. It's right on the. It's right. The Mount Madonna.
San Luis Obispo.
Right there is on the base of the volcano.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. So it's really wild. They say it's not active, but
Mount Madonna.
well, Mount Madonna. The stuff that I've explored at Mount Madonna is like, which is really wild, is in Watsonville right there, and that if you look at that, it's on the backside of the trail that you can walk. There's a mine back there, and there's a little bit of a lake, and there's a mine, and then there's all these rocks like scattered into the hill, big, small, and a tree, all alone on this thing, and from what my eyes see, I see like it might even be like a sky clock, some way of like, you know, the way the hill's set up, the sun kind of goes up, down, and it like actually kind of, if you look at it with the right eyes, of course, you can like see that it's like a sky clock. And I think it's kind of the same way, in the same version that like Ireland and the Celtics like used mountains and rocks as their sky clock too.
Right.
Which is wild. I mean, it's like, no one's going to like walk past all that stuff and be like, oh, what is this? But if like, I can't remember the lady's name that does all the research in Ireland, but some of the mountains, the way they are from where you're sitting on top of this like bluff, and like the way the rocks are set up, I should take a picture of it and send it to you. And and try, I kind of like wanted to go there like on like the solstice, like, you know, December 22nd, and like see like if it comes up like over the hill and kind of goes down, and because it'll like the way, I don't know. I mean, you just gotta explore that shit and kind of like use what these other researchers are kind of going, oh, you can kind of see it. I'm not like any expert at it, but like once you get up there, you're going, whoa, dude, like the way it's set up, it's like the rocks are all set up, big, small, and they're all scattered around. Like they're like if you were like looking down, it would like look like they were like tracking the stars with the rocks on the ground. The tree represents something, I don't know. But then the mountains behind it, you can see they're like 4 peaks. And there's actually like kind of like a weird pyramid hill like behind that all. So I don't know. And plus that mine being up there really freaks me out. I don't know what they were mining for, except I mean, mercury maybe. But the weird thing about Mount Madonna, it was owned by like the richest cattle guy in California, like Hal. That's not right. Hal. And there's ruins up there. They say that like his house are ruins, but like what house is built in the 1900s, and then they say it's ruins.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, so it's like, so I don't know. It's kind of like if you go there, you would be able to like, I should just take a picture so I can like point it, because it is kind of far out there, and I wish I had set up like this is my first time using Zoom, so I can't even fucking screen share anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you want,
your boy doesn't do all the like prep for shows like this, dude.
Well, if you scroll on the screen here, see on the bottom it says share screen.
Oh yeah.
if you click that, it will share your
Oh, I see what
screen.
you're saying. I'll probably end up like, I'll just go. Once I get better at it, I'll set it up. Where you
Yeah, no,
going?
it's all good. I just had to get up real quick. I'm with you though.
Yeah.
But dude, I mean, how many mines are all through this cutty ass Central Coast mountain range that no one's ever heard of? Like even going to New Almaden,
Have you been there?
Mercury mine. No,
Have you been there yet?
I've want to know. We still haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, dude, you got to. Okay, so here's the thing: is that just bring down a fishing pole for bass fishing, because there's like really good fishing spots along because they have like mercury lakes where I guess the mercury, they say the water's poisoned by mercury because of all the mining that they did, but these lakes are like maybe 25 to like 40 acres of water,
just massive,
right? And it's like they're all along that, and they actually just connected. It's called the Bay Area Ridge Trail. You heard of that?
Yeah.
They have just
the Bay Ridge Trail.
Like it goes from Napa all the way to like Coyote through Almaden, and the trail is actually really, really nice, and it goes up toward Mount Hommaman, which is like the Hummingbird Hill, and that's where you have the naval square radar thing up there. That's, you ever see that thing?
Yeah.
Right there on it's like Diablo, Serra Azul Hills right there. And that's a guarded area where like it doesn't look, it's kind of strange where I've heard you can walk up there, and then I've heard other stories where it's just like, yeah, like armed guards meet you there like immediately and tell you to get the hell out of there. But
I mean, I could see that. We just went up to the Twin Peaks Sutro Tower in SF. Okay. And it's definitely fenced off with like guards.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Weird. It's like they don't use it for nothing. It's a big square monolith, and it's like, get out of here, citizens. Totally. Yeah, like, hey, well, don't put a trail so close to this thing up to it, guys.
Yeah, it's right there.
you're gonna get people that want to come up here and drink a beer. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's they just connected all that area, and through connecting all that area, there's a ton of ghost towns up there, bro. Like the English camp is up there. Yeah. So, and then English camp, if you read their stories, and they have like these big brick chimneys that are still there, like that are in the flats. You don't even have to, like, you just pull into the parking lot and you look over to the left, and there's like 150-foot brick chimney right there. Just, so you're sitting there. And then over there, they're huge. And so New Almaden's like a strange place. It's like if you drive through the town, you'll be like, whoa, man, this is like kind of like in Silicon Valley, sort of like not even south, like past Cambria, Blossom Hill area, Santa Teresa, and all that stuff is like connected to the mercury mines and mercury caves and Mercury News. The whole thing is connected. It's like really strange, man. And it's really patriotic there. It's like you almost feel like you're driving through like a permanent 4th of July like parade. It really has that vibe. And they have like historical buildings and stuff. Like you'll see like all the stuff. Like that's like right as you pull in, that little bell tower thing.
It's interesting that in the first line they say New Almaden, known in Spanish as Nueva Almaden. Why would they say that first off the bat? Like, okay, the great translation.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and then it's Hills, San Jose, California, ghost town settlements. Yeah, it's called English Camp. There's the sign that I read when I got there. Ohlone people, the phony Ohlone. Let's see. That's what we call everyone that moves to Santa Cruz now. They don't even know what we're talking about. Heritage Mercury, then. Well,
elaborate.
Yeah, like let's see. Yeah, man, like that's another one where you just kind of go through it. And I swear it's like you're in a permanent 4th of July parade. Like it's that's the vibe that New Almaden, and it just feels that way. where people like going to get married there and stuff. Oh, and there's a lake right there. You have Calero right there, and
Oh
then
yeah.
that other
Let me
lake right
close
over
this thing
here.
out.
Yeah, Calero's cool. And then you have this other one, Quicksilver over here. Is the
Which
one
way?
that over more? There it is.
Up here?
Quicksilver. It was just there's Calero.
Next to
We
that?
just had it. Yeah. Well, Calero is right there. There's a and then oh, Quicksilver over here. It's another lake. But Calero is really really low right now. Last time I was there.
There's Loma Prieta.
Oh yeah, big Loma.
Oh,
Sierra is cool. Yeah.
I think
Oh,
I
they don't
mapped a
even
bunch
show
of.
you the big square thing. The thing, and then you have ghost towns up here. That's another lake. See.
This is the Lexington
Oh yeah,
Reservoir.
but there's ghost towns because there's towns that have been flooded underneath there.
Yeah, Lexington. I forget the other name too.
It was but those but like Lexington, the town of Lexington, that's where all the train stations are. They
Yeah, that's
go
where
through
they
there.
crossed.
There's tunnels. There's train tunnels. All because you've
Totally.
driven 17, the traffic is like gridlocked. But there's 7 train lines with tunnels, and I think I sent you a picture where the tunnels are huge, bro. They're like 25 feet tall and like wide enough to fit a bullet train through. And it's like those tunnels are just, it seems like a perfect way to transport people back and forth. But I guess Holy City has some like history. It's not very cool. And then if you go up Lexington Hill,
I
there's
guess there's a
another,
tunnel in here somewhere.
yeah, right there. And there should be like a lake up here that's right there. Right there. You just passed it. Go up.
Back
Other way. Yeah.
this way.
Nope. Other way. Other way. Yeah. And there's a lake right there. You can just see it. It's a tip over in the. And I think that lake is very private, very crystal
Where at?
clear water. No, it's further. It's more like toward Loma Prieta. Yeah, there it is. See it right there? It's over there. It says, "Wait stations abandoned tunnel." Right there.
Yeah. Oh, right. Station
Yeah.
Band Tunnel. It's
Yeah,
here.
oh yeah. But if you go a little bit more, if you open it up a little bit, you can see the